And we're back. I'm Alex. Welcome to Captain Rap's podcast, episode 2. And wow, we've just been laughing off camera before it started. And it started off with a mum joke. And your mum was right. Tell me, Martin, what was happening this week? What's going on in your life?
My life's good. Yeah, we're definitely gonna bring up the mom joke and what my mom said, but that's for later on this podcast. But Alex, first off, it's Monday. And last Friday was Valentine's Day. What happened? How was your Valentine?
Well, you would think that because I'm running a company that chooses good gifts, that I'd have a great gift for my wife. But unfortunately, Valentine's Day sucked for us because this is real hard startup hustle, right? I have another job. I work in kitchens. It could not be more different from the stuff we're doing now. Yeah, so I actually thought a little bit ahead and I knew that this was going to come up. And thankfully, I have a few good connections in the hospitality world. So we're actually going out for dinner and a wine tasting on the 1st of March. So
Nice.
hopefully Felicity will forgive me. And I think she has already. But I'm sure you were ahead of the game. I know you. What did you do?
Yeah, to be honest, Valentine is definitely always a struggle for me. But this year, I've recorded so many videos and content around Valentine's Day. I was like, if this year I screw up, then I could never talk about Valentine's Day anymore in my life. What I did, I used I don't know if you've seen it, but the five videos of what you should do or the things that never fail for Valentine's Day. And I used number 1, a handwritten letter, and it was a huge
Nice.
success. So next year, Alex, if you don't know what to do, just write a
Just go back to the
handwritten
video.
letter. Yeah.
The link is in below, or look up our shorts playlist on YouTube. You'll find it there. It's a fantastic little video. And actually, I wanted to even just pick that out because I found that a really interesting little sort of trip down the social media marketing avenue. Because for those of you who haven't seen the video, and you should, Martin is standing in front of 5 balloons, and each balloon is allocated a particular present that might be suitable for Valentine's Day. And because I'm a millennial, am I even a millennial? I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm even before that. Instead of going 1, bang, 2, bang, 3, bang, 4, Martin started going 5, 1, 4, 3, 2, and then finally the 1 at the last moment. So I was kind of, why is he doing it backwards and forwards? And I actually found your explanation really helpful. So maybe you could just share that with the team and with our audience. Why did you not go in chronological order? Because it bugged the hell out of me.
I can completely imagine because I think I'm a millennial too. So I'm definitely on the same page with you. But, we have a third member, our Captain Rap. And Captain Rap said, it's really working out these days on the socials to do it random because people want to. It's not only hearing about, what are the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, like the answers, but also putting a surprise in which number is coming now. So I think I started with number 3 and I went to 5. So people don't know what to expect. So it's not only the outcome, it's also the number. So it could be something that is worth trying. We saw quite some traction coming in on the video. So don't know if it was specifically about that or the Valentine Day gifts, but or suggestions. But yeah, it seemed to work. So we're learning and developing.
We're learning.
If you have any hooks and tricks that we should bring into our videos, drop it in the comments.
Put them in the comments. But it's actually a very interesting topic because, and I'm sorry that I'm going off script here, but I think there's a valuable lesson here, right? I watch a lot of sales videos and kind of sales techniques. And the one thing that is a repetitive pattern, which is funny, given that they're all talking about breaking the repetitive pattern, right? They're all talking about, don't be the sales guy that talks about in a linear fashion, this, and this, or gets in touch with people by, hey, I'm just following up. It's just how to get in front of people, how to attract people's attention in a busy marketplace. So I think it was a valuable insight from Captain Rap, and it was a well-executed video for someone who's, only just for 2 weeks been making videos.
I mean, that's it, right? It's so
Crazy.
interesting. I mean, the discussions that we're having at the moment, it's really about could this work? Could that work? And literally before this meeting, I sent a new suggestion for a video, which, might be coming out or not. We will see.
Who knows?
Waiting for the feedback from the team. But it's really about that, trying and error. Let's see what works. And I think there's so much content out there right now, so many people who say they know the tricks. And I think in the end, it's about getting started, because let's be honest, you and we've been talking about how we're going to approach this, how we're going to do this. And in the end, it's just, get out there, start working, use the tools that are available, and go.
100%. Just download the software. Get on the podcast. Make the podcast. Use the AI tools that are available. It's crazy, right? Whatever. 1 week ago, a little over 1 week ago, none of us had done a podcast before. And who knew? There are apparently tools out there that make it really, really easy. So guys, there is no excuse. If you're watching this video and want to start a podcast, go and do it.
Definitely.
It's either free or costs something ridiculous like $15 a month, which is nothing, right? But talking of all of that, let's talk about your mum. Your mum brought some valuable insights to the table, I think. And for those of you who are hoping that I might make a rude joke, I'm not, because Martin's mum was really helpful in bringing some feedback to us that we kind of knew about, but it just needed.
Definitely. I think you're right. So we're talking about, I was talking with my mom. I love her honest feedback always. She knows that. And I asked, what do you think of the site? And her first answer, her genuine answer was I don't think the site is very welcoming at the moment. And I think that's completely right. And this is something that we've been saying. And Captain Reb also discussed it and brought this up a couple of times. But, hearing it from outside voices, friends, family, or also people who don't know us, but, who are so kind to leave a comment, it's so valuable. And this is the moment that, it brought up a whole discussion with us. I mean,
could you just open up for, our viewers, what does not welcoming mean? Because, if we think about, I don't know, a cafe or a restaurant that is welcoming, is okay, there's nice furniture, the lighting's nice, the waitress welcomes you and says, how are you doing? Here's your seat. What does that mean for a website?
A good question. So what I think is one thing that's definitely currently happening right now is what is on offer. It's not so clear right now what we offer, how we help people. I think the tool is very helpful. We're still developing it, but it definitely does what we wanted to do already in many ways. But you don't see it. You don't get not tempted when you enter the site and you feel I'm going to use it right now. I need to. So the kind of gamification that we're seeking, the fun elements, I'm not saying it's completely lacking, but because definitely there are some elements that I really like, the clicking, in putting it in, it goes quite fast, but it doesn't feel like this is the product where I would say it goes up to an 8 on the scale from 1 to 10. And I always love to go for the 8.
What do you think one should see on a site to understand, number one, what is our value proposition? Number two, I feel drawn to that I'm going to use it. Where do we see it going? What do we need to put visually on the site for that to happen?
Yeah, I always love the when there's some images or pictures, maybe a video. In current world, there's so much media available that you can create, tools, and I'm missing that. And I think our tool, it's an AI tool. It is using the latest technology that's out there, and it's not shown. So making it welcoming, tempt people, putting the right call to actions in the right spot. Also, some other things. Look at the interest that we have right now. So this is something that we are working on actually this week. So hopefully next week we can say that it's implemented. Let's see if that's happening. But what we're seeing right now is that if you look at the site and you click the interest, you go to the site and we give those suggestions of interest that people can click to, interest and sub-interest. Sometimes the same interest comes back again. So it's cluttered, it's too much. If you keep clicking more, the view is not welcoming anymore. So things we can work on right now. When I'm saying this, Alex, anything else comes to mind that I've missed?
Well, the stuff that I've actually been working on this morning, in case you haven't noticed, and it's an interesting exercise. So we had, interest categories, top level interest of whatever sports, and then subcategories such as football, volleyball, whatever. boxing. And previously we had 5 subcategories, which when you've got 30 sort of overarching interest categories, 30 times 5, that's about 150 points of action, essentially, that the AI can take. And stripping those down has been quite a good, almost cathartic experience, right? You're just going, right, no, that's doubled up. No, we don't, if you've got gardening, why do you need a section about plants, right? You might just put plants under gardening as a sub-interest. So that's a really effective way of thinking, but it forces you to think about exactly, number one, we're backed by AI. So that tool can fill a lot of gaps that we don't even need to think about, right? And secondly, it's perhaps led an increased usability or user friendliness because, right, we cannot cover all the subcategories that belong to, say, sports. We've got football, tennis, rugby, cricket, whatever, American football, pole jumping, long jump. Not everybody's favorite sport is going to be in there. So just to have the initial 3 to give a bit of an overview and a little extra feel where you can go, put your own in here. That already makes the user feel involved. But I think you're right in terms of imaging and pictures on the site. Like, part of my previous job was looking at ad creative and trying to understand what makes a good ad, what makes people click, which obviously in the advertising world is if someone clicks, they're more likely to actually buy and convert and do the action that you want them to do, whatever, buy or sign up to a mailing list or something like that. And I can't tell you the amount of times that people were spending enough on their ads. People were getting all the ad formats out. They were landing on all the right sites for the product that they were selling. They weren't seeing clicks and conversions. And when you drill down, generally, it boils down to they didn't have good ad creative. And that usually is something like, let's say that you've got ad creative for mobile phones. The mobile is where most people are consuming their content these days. So if you've got a 320 by 100 ad there with tiny writing, not very clear images, and you're not actually putting the value proposition out there of the product you're advertising, how on earth is a user who is a customer going to know what am I buying? Why should I click? If there's no call to action like buy now, if there's no incentive, this is here's the product, it's great because of this, here's the incentive, 30% off, buy now. Like, that makes a good ad, and when it's colorful. So I think there's a lot of lessons we can actually derive from that. What do we put on our site? How does the user know straight away when they land on our site, this is what it's for, this is why it's cool, and this is why I should use it right now?
That's a very good point. And I think it really the translation between the ad that you've created and then bringing it down to the site. I mean, how often because you say, okay, we have conversion, we look at conversion rates and we don't get the results from the ROI on the investment. But if you advertising with something, even if the ad is amazing, right? So let's say the font is correct and you're doing everything right, but then you land on the page and you're advertising for, let's talk about clothes. You talk about a men's clothes, but then you enter the children's section. I mean, people will drop out. So when it works, it's so easy, but it's so important to think about, okay, we are creating the ad, but what are the people are going to click on and what do people expect and want to see on the site? So yeah, it's
a
super
journey.
Powerful.
You and I, along with Captain Rat, probably need to map that out.
Yeah.
It would be great to have little stickies all over the wall or whatever people do these days. But actually to figure out, okay, when we click on the YouTube video, we click on a TikTok reel, where's it taking me? What am I seeing when I land there? And what's my incentive to stay? And I think that would, if any of you guys have got any comments, any feedback, slide into our DMs, leave a comment below. We will love you forever. That will be really helpful. So but that actually leads us into quite an interesting area, because that conversation about what new features and kind of what should we be putting on the site all really started, number one, because of your mum, and number two, because the site broke this week. And I'm not the technical guy, so run us through what actually happened. And I assume we're up and live again now.
Yes. So it's not that the site was down, but we had definitely a big issue this week. So every business obviously has a business model. So our business model is affiliate marketing, which means we help people to finding the right gift. And then we hope that people then use that to see the results, click on the link, and then hopefully do the purchase. If they do the purchase, we get a certain percentage. But to be able to do that, the websites that we suggest where you could buy the products we should be an affiliate partner of those. So in the Netherlands, which is an important market for us, obviously, we work with bol.com, or at least we were working with bol.com with the previous name of the company, which we're gonna reveal with, I don't know, 1,000 members. I think that's what you said.
You may find out what we used to be called.
Yes, everything was the same, which was approved. So the website was approved. We were an affiliate partner of bol.com, and then we say, okay, please change the name to captainrep.com, and that's it. And then we got, you are declined as an affiliate member, and we were like, no. So that sucked. That's about, that's the topic of the week. It really, really sucked because you get that email and let's be honest, it brings some shakes within the team, right? Everybody's like, oh no, we're working so hard for this. We really want to make this work. And then you feel like you're going to make this work in the end, but you don't have the confirmation. First thing that we did is send them an email, ask for explanation. I really enjoyed how fast bol.com responded and also the level of detail. They wanted to see...
Big props. Bol.com.
Big props to bol.com, definitely. So what they wanted to see was more blog content, more relevant content. Obviously, most of the things that we do on our side is related to the tool. So that's where we believe that we can help people. But at the same time, we also want to help by providing good content via the blog content and also the posts that we do on social media. So
and this is part of it. The whole podcast is kind of a part of the reason that we're doing it, isn't it?
Definitely. You and I, we worked hard. Captain Rep worked hard, and we wrote to bol.com. They approved us again. We could use their API, which is really, really important for us to give visitors the best results possible. So that was fixed. But due to the change, the site got broken. We didn't get any bol.com results anymore. So Captain Rep had to dive in, do his magic. I don't know what he did, but he did some magic after a couple of hours of work, and now the site is working again. So it was a stressful couple of days for the team, but I mean, as a team, we definitely managed. So yeah, that was really, really good, but not something that you hope for at the beginning when starting a business.
Well, it's kind of like it's so essential to our business to have affiliate links, and in English we say it becomes a little bit squeaky bum territory when the essence is essentially your supply line is withdrawn. But maybe that's a great learning, isn't it? Like sometimes just stuff goes wrong and things break and you feel like you've almost done something wrong. All you've done is change your name to make it better, and then thankfully, again, thank you bol.com for just reading an email and responding in a human way. And that there's a good lesson there. If you have a great customer service team that actually responds to emails, man, you've got great business. And, obviously we're going to be hiring our own customer success team, when we get really big, and jobs at captainrap.com. We'll have to be live and running.
Well, for now, if you have any questions, you just get an answer from Alex, myself, or Captain Rep. Most likely one of us.
You get a super personal answer, and you might even get a video. A little Loom video saying, hey, this is how we roll. So yeah, have you got any other thoughts, wise statements?
Yes, I actually do have a question for you. Do you have like a tip of the week? And with that, I mean something that you've read, something that you've seen, could be in the startup sphere, or could be something completely just, entertainment, something that helps you put your mind on something else besides all the hard work that you're putting in every day.
So I'm listening to a podcast right now, and I'm listening to it. So it's on Spotify, where all great podcasts are, and I need to get ours on there. Thank you for reminding me. But it's called True Spies, and it's interviews with spies going all the way back to kind of World War II, right up through the Cold War, and even stuff now where they're kind of, dealing with, spies in the Middle East and Afghanistan and all that kind of stuff. And I suppose, derived a little bit of, that's interesting, maybe we should operate in that way. There's what they call the trade craft, and then there's the sort of the actual information gathering And you kind of need both. You need to gather the information, and that really, I suppose, is the user feedback. It's actually looking at the site. And then the actual tradecraft is, learning how to write secret messages and learning how to put on disguises. And that's the coding, right? That's the recording these videos, getting them out. Because once we've edited this, it's going to look great. But there's still a little bit of stuff to do. We need to subtitle it and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I found that really interesting. And obviously, at the moment, I'm also working in some kitchens. The food looks great when it comes out on the plate, but the trade craft, the actual stuff you go to college for, how to cut stuff properly, how to heat stuff up. What am I doing? Am I doing it properly? Yeah, there's a lot of transferable skills there. And I sort of started thinking like that for this business, but also for all the other little bits of pieces I'm doing in my life. That's useful.
Definitely.
What have you learned?
Good question. So let me also bring in a podcast. So last week or this week, I was listening to a podcast from Simon Sinek. And I think it's called A Bit of Optimism. And that's good in a podcast where we talk about things that suck. So he was talking to the CEO of Airbnb. And it was a really interesting podcast about how he grew the business. And one thing that really stuck with me is they were talking about his successor. The CEO is really someone who's obviously numbers matter, but he's not running his business by only focusing on numbers. He's really focusing on where do we want to go? Where does he see that Airbnb has an opportunity and where he wants the company to grow to? And that sometimes means that you make decisions that financially or number-wise might feel not the right direction, but for the longer term and the health of the business, it might be the right decision to make. So I would definitely recommend everybody who's into starting their business, listen to this podcast, Simon Sinek with the CEO of Airbnb.
Yeah. I mean, his tradecraft really is understanding people and kind of what motivates them. And a huge part of that is just so non-financial, but it has a financial impact down the road because of hiring and all that kind of stuff. And I suppose similar to kind of like with the spy podcasts I'm listening to, they obviously talk about things that go wrong, and you need to go back to your tradecraft when things go wrong to understand, okay, well, what are the tools, what are the skills I need to navigate this particular circumstance? And with Simon Sinek, it's kind of understanding people and knowing how to speak to people. To get around difficult situations. Yeah, really good. Love it.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's really fantastic. I love following him. So that's my tip of the week.
That's your tip of the week.
Tip of the week, yeah.
Good. Well, ladies and gents, thank you for bearing with us today. I hope you've enjoyed this little episode of what's been going on behind the scenes. If you've got any questions regarding what we're doing at captainwrap.com, if you've got any questions regarding how we're building it, why we're building it, delighted to answer. If you want us on your podcast, we'll come along. But yeah, until next week, have a good week. Stay blessed. Keep shocking. Everything's going to be fine.